ನನಗೆ
ವೇಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಓಕೆ ಆನಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ KSRTC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗುವಿನಂತೆ ನಿದ್ರಿಸಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಅಂಬಾರಿ. ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆಗ ನಾನು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸೋನ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಕೂತಿದೆ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಾದ್ರು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಇವರು. ಈಗ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇವರಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಣ್ಣವರು. ಅಣ್ಣನವರೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಣ್ಣನವರು ಅಕ್ಕನವರು ಅಣ್ಣ ಅಕ್ಕ ಬರ್ಲಿಯಾ? ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿ. ಹಾ ಬಂದ್ರು ಬರ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಣ್ಣನವರು ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ? ನೈಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಮಲ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಾ ಡೈಲಿ? ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ 11:30 12. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 5ಗೆ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ? 5:30
5:45 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. Modern Indian history we are discussing. In that, in our last class, we started with which topic? Deccan Riots, right? So that is in the part of peasant movement. In the part of peasant movement, we studied Deccan Riots. Deccan region means South India, the plateau of South India. You know what? While discussing plate tectonics chapter of geography, I'll again come to this Deccan Plateau. In India, not in India, in entire world, the entire land area, even the ocean area, which was divided into different plates. And some of the ocean plates that is heavier and the continental plates are lighter. Ocean plates are heavier, continental plates are lighter. When ocean plates meets with the continental plates, ocean plates, this is heavier, no? That will go down and continental plate will move up, come up. So because of that, mountain got arises. Okay, mountain. ಇದು ಹೀಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ವ, ಇದು ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಹೀಗೆ. ಇದಾಗಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ ಟೆಕ್ಟಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್. When this ocean plates and continental plates that move apart each other, ಅಲ್ಲಿ stream start ಆಗುತ್ತೆ initially, then river, then sea, then ocean. Atlantic Ocean ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, Atlantic Ocean day by day that is increasing its length, increasing its size. The reason is that is a diverging plate. Indian Ocean decreasing its size day by day because that is a converging plate. Okay, like that in India there is major plates, minor plates, micro plates and all. Suddenly this Deccan plate was the major plate. Okay, the entire plate of the South India land, one piece of land of South India. This is Deccan plate. So in this plate, for a land we call it as a plateau. Okay, so in this plateau, the peasant revolts which has happened in a modern Indian history that we are yesterday discussed. So what are the things we discussed under this? Start. What are the things we discussed yesterday under Deccan Riot as a heading? In which state of Deccan Plateau? Maharashtra. Right? Maharashtra experienced what? So that was the situation, worst situation that was utilized by money lenders, and they charged 30 to 300% of the interest rates. So that was the worst thing. And the raids also started in Ahmednagar and Pune districts of Bombay Presidency, and that was the armed rebellion under Vasudev Balwant Phadke. Next. Okay, Sir Richard Strategy Committee we discussed it, right? Sir Richard Committee. So what was that committee and why it was constituted? What is the reason behind the constitution of the Sir Richard Primity?
ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು?
Yes, the loan taking, borrowing and crediting. That was capped under this act. So what is the reason behind bringing that?
ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ.
Think Adya. That was the first thing, right? Then after that in south also money lenders activity was huge. To avoid that money lenders activity, they started it. So we
This committee, no chance of 50%.
no chance of 50% they coming out from this debt trap. Because of that, they implemented it very stricter not. Next we went for 1857. What is this 1857 revolt? 1857 revolt. Tell me what is this? There are different theories regarding this. There are different school of thought. They discuss. They put it in different manner. So what are the different kind of debate regarding this 1857 revolt? Definitions. For some of for whom it is a colonial clash. ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ ಯಾರು? ಹಾಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? For whom this is a just reactions of the dissatisfied Muslim community. For whom this is just a clash between the two culture.
This is right.
For whom this is first war of India's independence. Okay, what is the reason for this revolt? We discussed it. We completed this reason. Political factor, economic factor, social factor. We completed now. So what are the reason for the revolt? Quick, everybody. Okay. Zamindars last day zamindari because of that. Peasants. Okay. Remain cool. Next. Tax system.
Highly regressive.
Highly regressive. What is progressive tax system and regressive taxation? Progressive means less earners, less tax. More earners, more tax. Regressive means whatever be the percentage, earning, the tax rate would be high. That is regressive. Next, sometimes high earners, percentage of the tax would be less on them. That is regressive. Next, commercial legislation. 18. There we discuss. Okay, that is one of the reason for the revolt. Next, political factors. What are the political factors? Okay, next. First second ಬೇಡ ನಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ತರ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ ಡಿಬೇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ okay subsidiary that is one of the thing where territories directly comes under the British government. So Indians being Indians we are not very happy for that. So that is another reason for the 1857 revolt. Next, doctrine of the lapse. That is another theory, another policy under which they are going to acquire our land. So that is another threat. And that is another reason. Next, ring fencing. That is another kind of acquiring property. That is another reason for the 1857 revolt. Next. Next. What? Royal titles, that was abolition. So Mughal things they got hurted. Next. Social factors. Say some social factors. So say some social factor. Don't look at your notes.
British were the liberal and progressive.
Progressive, and we are the traditional and conservative. This is the thing. Next. So that was our view. Okay, next.
It's not entirely a
Cultural
social
clash.
cultural.
Okay, that is our view. Next. And here let us discuss the different social evils, and that was banned by the Britishers, and that was the unwanted interference for us. That too upper caste, right? So
White man's burden.
white man's burden, that was the thing. Next. What is white man's burden?
Like
This is the-
English said that they are sent by the gods and
This is that is their moral duty.
moral duty to
Next, what is white meeting?
Indian soldiers, British officers.
Exactly. The same British Army Indian soldiers. Next. Here, in the social factor, what we had discussed, Wellesley's women's infanticide, that regulations, Benting's sati, we discussed, Macaulay's English education, Darlow's widow remarriage, right? These are the things I am expecting from you. Yeah, notes ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. The social things, the sati, the widow remarriage, and Rajaram, with the request of our social reformers, they banned the customs, some of the social events of the Indian society. So those are the things which made upper caste angry. So that was the reason for the 1857 social factor revolt. Next, religious factor. And religious factor was one of the immediate cause for the revolt. And initially, religious factor means they are the Christians rulers, and they ruled by the Hindu most of the time. Next,
Money was used to preach Christianity.
yes, they used our own revenue to preach against us, or you can say they used our own revenue to preach their ideology, their religion in our land. So that was the reason behind why the revolt happened. Next.
It was sometimes like Hindu versus Hindu only, like not religious.
Okay. So that is our conclusion. Next.
Indian
And who declared that it was our divine responsibility to convert India into Christianity? In the Parliament of UK, William Grant. Next, what we discussed? India's Inheritance Act. What is that solve the way? Solve the barrier in the way, right? What is the barrier in the way? If somebody was converted from Hinduism to their religion, they are not, they will not owners of the property. They will not become owners before, according to Hindu legal laws. So he brought a legal law, and in modern Indian history, and he made conversion is legal, even from property perspective, right? This is the thing. Next. Problems of sepoys. What are the problems of the sepoys?
They were not
organized for Indian Army.
Okay, that was the one.
Jyotidas.
Okay, next.
And they are not able to practice their own religious
Okay.
customs.
Okay.
And
What is Service Enlistment Act?
Prohibited the
1856 Service Enlistment Act.
cultural activities.
Not culture, prohibiting the religious activities of the sepoys in military troops. So what kind of religious activities they used to practice?
Puja, namaz,
So
wearing tilak.
according to Britishers, you don't reveal your religion here while you are working as a sepoy, right? This is the thing. So that made sepoys, like, they wanted to practice their religion even being a army personnel. So that is one of the immediate reason. And what is the exact immediate reason behind this revolt? Royal Enfield guns entry. So there was a cartridges which smeared by the cow or pig fat, and that was exchanged away. For Hindus, cow is sacred animals. They will not eat this fat of the cow. And for the Muslims, the pig was prohibited. So they will not have that pig fat. So when this went as a rumor that this fat smeared over the cartridges of the Royal Enfield gun, hatred started among the sepoys, or you can say the Britishers intentionally they are doing that. That kind of conclusion these sepoys came. So that was the immediate reason, right? Next. Only that's it. Till there we discussed it.
before now.
Mangal Pandey issue. We discussed this. Mangal Pandey and his cousin Ishwar Pandey both belongs to 34 Infantry Regiment at Barakpur. They revolted, right?
Yes, sir.
And Captain Bakht Khan, right?
Third.
Yes, third cavalry force. He took the leadership initially. And May 31st of 1857, that was the initial date,
But
right?
it was
Preponed to May 10. Because that time 1:5. And they got a news that some of the British army that is getting entered into the British. So if that was the case, 5:5. The ratio would be 5:5. So they don't want that. Initially 1:5. So before that would become 5:5, let us revolt. That is the plan they came. So May 10, 1857, they considered that was the right time. So the revolt started first in the Meerut. Yes or no? How? And what is the international situation of that time? What happened in international?
Crimea ಮತ್ತೆ ರಷ್ಯಾ
Like not Crimea and Russia. For Crimea, Russia and England they started a war for a region called Crimea. So most of the England's resources, that means human resources, that means army, that was concentrated towards Russia. So at that time, the England's army at the end was very weak. So this is the right time. Let us revolt. So that kind of confusion. Next.
the Mughal Emperor.
They made Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah
Head for this.
was the leader for the revolt. They declared him as a leader. The reason behind to unite India, to portray this 1857 revolt as a India's revolt, not just one dissatisfied Sipais revolt, not just one dissatisfied region's revolt, not just one dissatisfied group revolt against Britishers. To portray this revolt as a entire India's revolts against the Britishers. At that time, India means Mughal, Mughal meant India. Because of that, for the namesake, they made Mughal emperor. They made Mughal emperor as a leader of this revolt.
But
Unfortunately, that is the last thing. No, initially he was agreed and he was very happy, and he did not step on ground. He was seated on the throne itself within the palace. He never ever came to the warfield, or he never ever came to the limelight. But he namesake he became a king. Okay, ಯಾವತ್ತು ರೋಡಿಗೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಯುದ್ಧ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಏನೂ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ಯಾಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ರು. But namesake he was the king. Okay, so in a later on while discussing further classes, again I will tell you, he instead of went against the Britishers, he supported the Britishers. That is a tragedy. Then that is another reason while discussing why 1857 revolt was not successful for the Indians. Why it is a disaster? This point you should write. Next, only that much. Take it in centers and the leaders of the revolt. Centers and leaders, very important for prelims. Centers and leaders of the revolt. The first one, Arra in Bihar. The Khan Bahadur Khan, head of Rohillas, led the revolt. Wait. Khan Bahadur Khan, he was in Bareilly, UP. This was not Khan Bahadur Khan. This was led by the Zamindar, Jagdishpur, Zamindar of Jagdishpur, Kunwar Singh and Amar Singh. Zamindar of Jagdishpur, Kunwar Singh and Amar Singh. Next, Bareilly UP. Second, Bareilly UP. That was Khan Bahadur Khan. Kunwar Singh and Amar Singh. They are the Zamindars of the Jagdishpur. Jagdishpur was the region in Bihar.
Amar Singh.
Yes.
Anwar.
Anwar. Amar Singh. AMAR. Amar Singh. Kunwar Amar Singh. So Bareilly, UP. That was Khan Bahadur Khan. He was the head of the Rohilla revolt. Next in Delhi, Bareilly. Next in Delhi, Who was the leader?
Only Delhi.
Delhi. Who was the leader?
Krishna.
Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah the second. He declared the head. But real leader in Delhi was Bakht Khan. Bahadur Shah the second, he did not come to throne. He did not visit the throne. Bakht Khan, he took the leadership. Next, Faizabad in UP. Faizabad. Maulavi Ahmad Ullah. Maulavi Ahmad Ullah. Faizabad, Uttar Pradesh. Maulavi Ahmad Ullah. He was the great Wahhabi leader. What is Wahhabi movement?
It was started in Saudi Arabia.
हाँ,
And then
come to India through
Sayyid
Sayyid Muhammad
Ahmad.
Ahmad. Okay, next.
They were
They have reason.
ruled India.
What is the initial thing? What is the initial ideology?
Rule the world.
World. So rule India also. How to rule India? Because now ruler are the Christians. So against rulers, against Christians, we must unite together. Hindu Muslim unity, they preach it, right? Same thing here. Nawab. What is his name? Maulavi Ahmad Ullah. He was the great Wahhabi leader. He offered joint resistance. He offered joint resistance of Hindus and Muslims against Christians. Joint resistance. He offered joint resistance of Hindus and Muslims. In support of Nawab Wazir Ali Shah of Ayodhya, continue there, sir. In support of Nawab Wazir Ali Shah of Ayodhya, in a remarkable sense of unity, Nawab Wazir Ali Shah of Ayodhya, in a remarkable sense of unity, Muslim gave away a disputed Rama Janma Bhoomi site for the Hindus during this time. During 1857 war, Rama Janma Bhoomi was under the control of the Hindus. Because in the sake of unity, the ruler Nawab Wazir Ali Shah of Ayodhya, he gave it to Hindus. Because that was a controversial site, not just in the modern, that means after independence, before independence also, that is a controversial site. So ruler of Ayodhya, Muslim, and majority section of the population are the Hindus. So there was a constant tussle between the population and as well as the rulers. So during this period, during the period of the revolt, to give a what we call united sense, to give a united sense, being a ruler, he just gave away that land to Hindus to unite the population of his state. The ruler of Ayodhya, Nawab Wazir Ali Shah. So this may be a preliminary question. Like during 1857 war, the Ayodhya, Ram Janma Bhoomi was under the control of Hindus. Who gave? The same emperor of Ayodhya. He gave. Right? Next, Jhansi. She was a Jhansi, Lakshmi Bai. She was a widow of Gangadhar Rao. She adopted Ananda Rao. She adopted Ananda Rao, and British nullified this adoption under the name of what? Doctrine of Lapse, and occupied Jhansi. So Jhansi was another revolt, another center of the revolt, another center of the revolt. Next, Kanpur. Kanpur. The main center of the revolt. Kanpur was the main center for this 1857 revolt. Very important center. Here, Nana Sahib, the head of the revolt. Nana Sahib was supported by Anna Sahib. Kanpur was the head of one of the important center of the 1857 revolt. Here Nana Sahib was the head of the revolt and he was supported by Anna Sahib as well as Rao Sahib. Second line, third line leaders. Here the Muslims like Maulavi Azimullah and Kantia. Maulavi Azimullah and Tantia Topi was expert in guerrilla war. They also supported Nana Sahib. Azimullah and Tantia Topi is expert in guerrilla war. They also supported for this Kanpur revolt. Next, Lucknow. Where located? UP, capital. Right? This is another important center of the revolt. Here, Begum Hazrat Mahal, the wife of Nawab Wazir Ali Shah. Begum Hazrat Mahal, the wife of Nawab Wazir Ali Shah. Nawab Wazir Ali Shah, Hazrat Mahal, Nawab Wazir Ali Shah's wife. She organized the movement for the sake of her son. She organized the movement for the sake of her son, Berzis Qadar. So these are the different centers. So mention the different centers of the revolt. This is one of the old prelims question actually. Different centers of the revolt. Khanpur from the beginning. Different centers of the 1857 revolt. First one, Arar,
In Bihar.
Bihar. Next, Bareilly, UP. Next, Delhi. Next, Faizabad. Next, Jhansi, Kanpur. ಹೇಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎರಡು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಕಾನ್ಪುರದೊಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿದೊಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರೆ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆ ತರ ಇತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್. Kunwar Singh and Amar Singh. Next, Bareilly, Khan Bahadur Khan. Next, Delhi Bahadur Shah II. Next, Bakht Khan was the real leader. Next, Farizabad, Maulavi Ahmadullah. Maulavi means Muslim guru. Next, Jhansi, Lakshmi Bai, Kanpur, Nana Sahib. ಅದೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನಾ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಲಕ್ನೋ, ಬೇಗಂ ಆಜಾದ್ ಮಹಲ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಇದು. ವೆರಿ 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 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ UPSC.
For Delhi, Bahadur Shah II or
Bakht Khan was the name, real fighter, but he was the namesake inter-leader, right? So you can't forget this Bahadur Shah II as the leader of Delhi, right? So this is the thing. Take any like suppression of the revolt. So in this area revolt started. So what is the British? They did. British will never sit quiet. They always try to suppress the revolt in different region, in different style. So how they suppressed the revolt? That is your main question. Suppression of the 1857 revolt. See, when yesterday I was discussing something else, I discussed who was the Governor General at that time. Canning. So, what are the things, initiatives he took to suppress 1857 revolt? That was very important for UPSC mains. So, tell me, being a government, if this anti-incumbency started in the entire country, so how you will manage? Force, in some area where the revolt was weak, I can use force and suppress that. Next,
We'll make like try to be friendly relations.
friendly relations, they will not listen. Because they are revolting. They are not coming for the discussion. They are fighting how you can. Somebody is coming to hit you. How you can be a friend with them? So at that time, that was not because those debate, discussion, friendly thing that was crossed. Now this is situation of the revolt. So how you will suppress this revolt?
ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಟ್ಗಳಂತ ಇರೋದು.
They will not listen.
ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್
The revolt started against their acts.
ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ
Yes, listening their demands. Next. So the thing which is giving, right? Now good governance ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ next year ಇಂದ ಈ ತರದ್ದಲ್ಲ. Next. ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿ ಓಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ ಅವ್ರು ಕೆಟ್ಟವರು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಓಡಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿ ಬಿಕಮ್ ದಿ ಎಂಪರರ್ ರೈಟ್ ಫೇಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡೋದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಯು ಎಸ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮೀ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ
ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆ ಥರ
ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಈಗ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಟೆಂಪರರಿ ಪಾಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೀಜನ್ ವೈಸ್ ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ರೀಜನ್ ವೈಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಬರೇಲಿ ಫೈಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಬರೇಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾನ್ಪುರ್ ಬೇರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ 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 ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಸ್
ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಧ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ರೈಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ
ಈ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೈ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ
ಓಕೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫೇಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸಸ್ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಮೋಷನಲ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ರೈಟ್ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಈ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸಿಪಾಯಿಸಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರೈಟ್
ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು.
ಅಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವರು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದ್ರೂ ಜೊತೆದಾರ ತನಕ ಕರೆಸ್ತಿದ್ರು ಈಗ ಜೊತೆದಾರ ತನಕ ಬಿಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಸಿಪಾಯಿಸ್ ರೈಟ್ ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜೊತೆದಾರ ಜೂನಿಯರ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಆರ್ಮಿ ಸೊ ಜೊತೆದಾರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲೆಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಅ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸಿಪಾಯಿ ರೈಟ್ ದೆನ್ ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ okay next how you will suppress being a lord canning
ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್
okay some of the princely states one were very happy for presence of the britishers in india talk with them and took the support of those princely states right and one who already signed subsidiary alliances using their armies and their financial forces next
ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವು ಅವರದ್ದೇ ಸ್ಪೈಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು
okay there is no need of spy already fire right spy and everything before fire right this is now news only public news ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು right next take suppress of the revolt lord canning he was the governor general when the revolt started Colonel Campbell was the chief of operation. Campbell. He was the chief of entire operation. This is dot. Sometimes it is KCOL dot. Colonel Campbell. He was the chief of the entire operation at Arhara in Bihar. Arhar in Bihar. First one. Zamindar Kunwar Singh and his brother Amar Singh was shot dead. That means here they used force in Arhar by the British commander William Tyler and Wilson Smith. William Tyler and Wilson Smith. Wilson Smith. These two British officers, they shot at the two leaders, Kunwar Singh and brother Amar Singh. This is the story of Arhar in Bihar. Next, at Bareilly in UP, The Khan Bahadur Khan was defeated by Colonel Nail. Colonel Nail, another officer, defeated by Colonel Nail. Next, in Delhi, okay, take time and write. This is all very important. Nail. In Delhi, the commissioner Surjan Nicholson died of injury. So Bhakta Khan was shot dead. Nicholson, Nicholson. He was died of injury. He was the commissioner at that time. So Bhakta Khan was shot dead. Colonel Hudson, another officer, Colonel Hudson, he shot dead the two sons of the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II during the revolt. Shot dead two sons of the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II. See, one among them was the good at Urdu poetry. His name Mirza Ghalib. Mirza Ghalib was known as father of Urdu poetry. Mirza Ghalib, father of modern Urdu poetry. So this incident made Delhi to witness violent revolution. Violent revolt. This incident made Delhi to witness violent revolt. Next, Bahadur Shah II and his grandson Jeevan Bakt. Bahadur Shah II, the emperor, and his grandson Jeevan Bakt, both were deported. Deported means what? Sent away. Both were deported to Rangoon jail of Myanmar, Burma. This Rangoon jail is very famous in modern Indian history. Again and again that will come. Rangoon, R-A-N-G-O-O-N. Rangoon jail of Myanmar, Burma. And Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II, he died there itself in 1865. He died in 1865 in a jail, in an imprisonment, in a prison. 65. Lakshmi Bai, she died while fighting against Sir Hugh Rose. Sir Hugh Rose. Sir Hugh Rose. He was the officer. While fighting with Sir Hugh Rose, she died. In Faizabad, Mauli Ahmadullah was killed by Hindu feminist Raja or Hindu fanatic Raja. Hindu fanatic Raja. Mauli Ahmadullah was killed by Hindu Raja, just like Hindu Raja. Povain. That means what? He was a part of British. Princely state. Povain. He supported the British and he killed Mauli Ahmadullah at Faizabad. In Kanpur, Nana Sahib and his followers was defeated. And these defeated Nana Sahib and his followers took shelter in Nepal. In Kanpur, Nana Sahib and his followers defeated Nana Sahib and his followers took shelter in Nepal. Rao Sahib and Anna Sahib, other two leaders, they were captured. They were captured with Britishers in Hyderabad. Rao Sahib and Anna Sahib, the other two leaders of the Kanpur, they were captured in Hyderabad, captured with Britishers in Hyderabad. and were hanged in Kanpur. After capturing, they dragged to Kanpur and they were hanged in Kanpur. Why? Why they used to hang in an open space and all?
To create
Fear.
To create among the public, to create fear or hatredness, or you can say, look at this. If you come against us, this is the position of you, right? Today for him, tomorrow it may be for you, right? These kind of lessons, to teach these kind of lessons, they used to hang in the public. Even in Karnataka, Kittur, the Ryan was hanged in open public for a tree, right? Arey yaar, what happened? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು ಹಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ರೈಟ್ ಹಾಂ ಎನಿವೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಬೇಟ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಬೇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಕಾನ್ಪುರ್ ಹಾಂ ಕಾನ್ಪುರ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು the two leaders that were captured in Hyderabad and they were hanged in Kanpur in a public. Okay. Tantya Tope was one of the leader. He got executed. Right? Okay. And he was betrayed by Raja Rammohan or Raja Mohan Singh, not Rammohan, Raja Mohan Singh. Raja Mohan Singh. He was betrayed by Raja Mohan Singh. With the execution of Tantya, the revolt ended. See, that was the last suppression. Tantya Tope execution was the last suppression. When Tantya Tope got killed, the suppression got ended. That means the revolt ended. Right? Yes. So those used the force and they suppress it. Everywhere, most of them they use the force and they suppress it. So the very important thing here is, what is the reason for the failure of the 1857 revolt? Is this a failure or successful? Failure. How you can say 1857 revolt got failed? See, what is the motive behind revolt? Why revolt started? According to Savarkar, this is the first war of India's independence. So, what is the destiny? Independence. Goal reached or not? When goal reached means what? Not reached means what? The revolt failed. Right? So, what is the reason for the failure of the revolt? This is very important for UPSC. You must. The leaders, they trained, but they did not train the girl. So, what is the reason behind the failure?
No unity, cheating among themselves.
And there are no unity among the leaders. And when there are among the leaders, there are no unity, you can't expect among the public.
And many people were not aware.
And at that time, the communication was very less. Even though it was present, the communication only used by the Englishmen to suppression of the revolt instead of the creation of the revolt by the Indians. Right? Indians ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಬರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು, different parts in south also. The centers which I mentioned, this is the main centers. If you look at other centers, the entire India was the center. Entire district regions of India, that was the centers. So these centers, there are leaders. All centers contain some of the leaders. And coordination in between the leaders, there is no coordination. What is the reason? There is no communication system. And they know something is happening in India. So how they are fighting, what they are using, they don't know. Right? So it is very region specific. So this is the thing. Next.
Only concentrated on North India.
Only concentrated in North India. That is another reason. Like in South India, that too extreme south, we are not even aware of something is happening in India. We are not even bothered what is happening in India at that time, 1850s and revolt. Right? Especially Karnataka and southern part of Karnataka, we did not involve in. We entirely out of 1857 revolt. We did not involve in 1857 revolt. Yes. Next.
Indians say British.
Most of the time, the princely states of the zamindars, of the moneylenders, They wanted Britishers' presence in India, so they supported them. Next. What is the failure? What is the reason behind the failure? You must think for 2 minutes.
ಸಿಪಾಯಿ ಕಡೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡೋದು.
In the name of the revolt, sometimes they started to give threat to the civilians, right? Sometimes dacoities and everything started. This I will do while discussing Quit India movement. You know what? The Quit India movement, do or die. Do or die means just blast everything. This is the call which is given by the Gandhi. Just destroy everything. Destroy the post office, destroy the police station, destroy the courts, destroy the banks. That means what? These dacoities, they got license to do dacoities. These thieves, they started to do more and more loot, more and more dacoity, using the license called Quit India movement. So same thing here also. So most of the illegal fellows, most of the smugglers and everywhere, they took the advantage of this revolt. And most of the times these police officials, they started to harass the people in the name of this. Indian sepoys in the name of the revolt, they collected what do you call? They accumulated the assets. Right? They attacked some of the churches. They attacked some of the revenue centers. Right? This is the thing. Next, this is the reason for the failure of the revolt. So people lost faith in these leaders. So they withdraw their support. Next. So overall, the parties of the revolt, members, coolie, working class, zamindars, sometimes moneylenders, and these are the civilians. These are the members of the revolt. You know what? When revolt started, most of the zamindars withdrew their support. When revolt started in 2-3 sites, Britishers successfully suppressed the revolt in 2-3 sites. And these zamindars are so clever, they withdrew by themselves. ಒಂದು 2-3 ಕಡೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಸಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ ಕೂಡಲೇ these zamindars they withdrew. And moneylenders, they withdrew even earlier. And some of the princely states, they are in the side of this Bahadur Shah II. They give a hand. They also withdrew. Some of the princely states, they started to join hands with the Britishers. Next.
So now peasants are left alone.
Peasants are left alone. So these peasants, they are the poor fellows. What they will do? Right. This is another reason. Next.
ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ಗನ್ಸ್
Yes, well equipped Britishers. We are just boy and arrow fellows, right? Or you can say we are just less equipped. We are not scientific. We are not well equipped soldiers. Right? Yes, Indian soldiers in the same British army, Indian soldiers, they fighted against them. Then also our Indian soldiers, they are below the rank of the Jatidars. So their guns, ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬುಲೆಟ್ ನಾಳೆ, right? This is the situation. So how you can expect the revolt going to be successful? So that is very difficult. Next. Any other reason behind the failure of this 1857 revolt? Can I extract any other reason? No coordination. Okay. And Bahadur Shah II, the leader of the revolt, he joined with hands with the Britishers. When leader he himself compromised, it means what? The rest of the fellows, they lose the confidence. Next. And there is no idea of nation at that time also, 1857. Everybody, when Jhansi Ships started to revolt, just because British started to threat Jhansi, otherwise Lakshmi Bai, otherwise there is no Lakshmi Bai support for the revolt. This is just an example. Why some of the peasants, they started to revolt against the Britishers? For their own reasons. They don't know what is nation. The peasant, they don't know what is nation. These coolies, they don't know what is nation. When they got something benefit from their landlords, and their landlords promised something which they are threatening as of now. So they withdraw the support for this 1857 revolt. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮ್ಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದ್ರು, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಜಮೀನ್ದಾರ್ ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಫಿನಿಶ್. ರೈಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಆ ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆ ಕೊಡಿಸಿದ್ರು, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿಸಿದ್ರು ಯಾರು? ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್. ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಅಟ್ giving fake promises and they are good at breaking promises. Next, any other? ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೆಯೋದು ನೀವು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. See, this is the entire all India level revolution. So fund everything, the economic resources need of the hour to do revolution against the great British. So what is the source of fund? Nobody know. Right? You must provide food for these sepoys. You must provide food for these civilians who will join for this revolt. And there are no food. Money to madi barbeku. Right? So this migration of the resources, human resources, from one region to another region, that was very successfully did by the Britishers. What is this migration of human resources from one area to another? ಈಗ ಯು ಪಿ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬೆಂಗಾಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಪಂಜಾಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಕಡೆ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಇದೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ ಆರ್ಮಿ. ಮೂರು ಕಡೆಯನ್ನು ಕರ್ಕೊಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಪಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ತರ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಕ್ಕನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಗುಜರಾತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಪಂಜಾಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಯು ಪಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲಿಸನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್? ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ದೇ ಗೆಟ್ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ. So that is their work. So they will do. They are present there itself to do that work. But here we are fighting for our own immediate reason. We are not fighting for our country or something else. We are not fighting. We don't know what is independence. We don't know what is nation. Right? Peasants, they are fighting for their own immediate causes, their own immediate reason. So they will not listen if somebody, our leaders, they told like go to UP. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ಕಿತ್ತೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವು ನಾಳೆ ಯುಪಿಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ they will not go. So this is the transmigration of the human resources that was successfully done by the Britishers, and we Indians failed. This is another reason. Hope you got my point. Next, think ಮಾಡಿ. See, police department is known for its discipline, even army. So when discipline is there means the efficiency of the work was there. When discipline is high means efficiency is also high. So if you look at the British side army and Indian revolutionaries who are well disciplined, so efficiency more at the British side. So success rate more at the. So you can add this also, right? And they are well trained. Here they are the peasants. They don't know how to fight. They know only to cultivate, right? They're the peasants, common civilians. Any other points? No? Okay, chalo, start. The reason for the failure of the 1857 revolt. First one, the leaders had no conviction. The leaders had no conviction for one reason. Leaders had no conviction for one reason or one agenda. There are no common agenda, you can say. There are no common agenda. Each one was fighting for their own interest, their own immediate interest. Each one was fighting for their own immediate interest. Most of the times for their local issues. They be the part of this revolt for their local issues, not as a nation as one entity. Not as a nation as a one entity. The namesake leader for this revolt, the Bahadur Shah II, Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II. He was the leader of this 1857 revolt from the Indian side. He negotiated with the Britishers in a back door. Secretly negotiated with the Britishers. What is the thing in negotiation? Why he negotiated? To make sure his pension. Okay? The great Mughal Emperor. Right? And Nana Sahib also lost India lost Nana Sahib, the revolt lost Nana Sahib, and Lakshmi Bai, she had fighted for her own estate interest. Next point, right? The elite zamindars, the rich section of the zamindars, they extended the support for these national leaders for this revolt. The elite section of these zamindars, they extended their support for these national leaders for 1857 revolt, for this revolt. Initially they thought they are the whole and soul members for this revolt. They are the whole and soul members for this revolt. Whole and soul members for this revolt. They thought like that and they joined. They extended their support for the British, for the national leaders. But underline this: when the working class and coalition and agri laborers and common peasant, when the working class, coalies, agri laborers and common peasant, they also joined the revolt. They also joined the revolt. This elite section felt, or you can say this elite section are not very happy and they withdraw their support. You are following, right? Not just reading blind. You should not read blind. You should follow and you should think and you should write. Bengal Landholder Society was founded by Dwaraknath Tagore. Landholder Society was founded by Dwaraknath Tagore. You know what? This was founded in 1839 and this is the first political party in modern Indian history. I'll again come to this. Dwaraknath Tagore. Okay, this is again, I'll come to this. The first political party in modern India. Bengal Landholder Society was founded by Dwaraknath Tagore during this time, during 1839. This society, or you can say this political party, they unitedly tendered apology to the Queen of England for the trial for this revolt. They unitedly apologized for the Queen. Okay, for the party to make their party as a member of this revolt. That means what? They withdrew and they asked apology for the Queen. Next, no coordination among the leaders. Next point. No coordination with the leadership. And each leader, they had some or other reason, each leader, they had some or other, each leader, they had some or other reason behind the problem with other leader. Means, within the leadership also, there is no coordination. They had some other problem with other leaders. Right? The difference started between Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah II and Nana Sahib. Two leaders, difference started. Bahadur Shah II and Nana Sahib. And difference started between Lakshmi Bai and Tanya Tope. Difference started between Lakshmi Bai and Tanya Tope. And difference between Maulavi Ahmadullah and Begum Hazrat Mahal. Maulavi Ahmadullah and Begum Hazrat Mahal. Begum Hazrat Mahal. So these are the leaders and there are difference in between them. That is one of the reasons for the failure of this revolt. Okay. And let us come to this resource part. Sipais had no resources, underline. Sipais had no resources to fight, and even they gradually lost the support from the common public because of one or two mistakes of the some other Sipais which did. What does it mean? Nikai, rape, those kind of incidents which registered in some other regions, the entire Sipai community, they lost support from the common public, right? So they had no resources and they lost support and sympathy. They lost sympathy also. Because in some other areas they started to loot the people, some Sipais they started to loot the people in the name of the revolt. In the name of revolution, they started to loot the people. So at that time, instead of Britishers, the Indian owned anarchy was established. See, these kind of words make your answer standard. Instead of British rule, at this point of time, the Indians owned anarchy was established. Anarchy, monarchy, democracy, these are the different kinds of government. So Indians owned anarchy was established. Anarchy means some fellows like one king, and whatever he does, that is the right. There are no debate and discussion like democracy. Democracy leadership. Monarchy is full king, and anarchy is and his military leaders in Madrid, that is strong, that is okay. And these Sipais, they started to loot the people. They started to indulge in some of the crimes. They started to be part of the rapes and all. So when this was the case, that's a kind of anarchy there. Nobody here to question this Sipais. That is a kind of anarchy. So Indians made anarchy that was experienced by India. So that was the reason for the failure of this 1847 revolt. Right. On the other hand, English had certain advantages. See, tell me what are the advantages of the English? Why they won this revolt, or why they are successful in suppressing this revolt? What are the advantages? First of all, if you look at the negatives of the Indian side, and that is positive here. Here there is no resources. They did not generate resources. They did not collect funds for this revolt and all. But here, our own money is there to revolt against us. They collect revenue continue money is there.
They have good communication.
And they have good communication system. And there is no scarcity of food here. And transmigration controls from one area to another area. That everything was done in a proper way, in a systematic way, in a strategic way. And accountability. The Sipai should accountable to his commander, their higher officer to politician to queen. Like this. Answerability, accountability. Here that is not the case. Coordination among the different location coordination. Here is right. Next, what are the other advantages?
All the weaknesses of the Indians.
They know the weakness of the Indians and they utilize it that here, right? Next. Right. There are no scarcity for the food. There is no scarcity for the resources. And the armies were much disciplined, right? Something. Leave space and write. Okay, do whatever you want. This is my just a suggestion. Amil Bariri. There is no scarcity of food, no scarcity of the resources, no scarcity of the equipments. The armies were well disciplined, and the commanders, the sepoys are well trained. And movement of the troops or armies from one place to another, the movement of the troops and armies from one place to another was become easy because of their strong communication system, and that was lacked in India's side. Strong communication system, and that was lacked in India's side. One place to another. Right? So for the movement of the troops, they need communication system, and they had a well-established communication system. What kind of communication system at that time? Telegram, telephone, post, right? Even telephone.
Even they had railways to move.
Railways. So yes, they had a railways. At that time, they restricted Indians. When revolt started, they restricted Indians. They only let the British sepoys to move in that railways. You know what? At that time, not only today's society, these intellectuals, these reformers, these elites, these big brains of the society, they supported the Britishers instead of the Indian caste. So, right, majority section of the Indian society, particularly intellectuals, underline this. Majority sections of the Indian society, particularly intellectuals, the reformers. See, there is a reason behind reformers to support Britishers. What is the reason?
ಅವರು ಲಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತರ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he wanted to widow remarriage to stabilize in Indian society. So without Britishers, he can't able to implement it. It was very difficult. So he wanted Britishers to remain in India. And Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he wanted to abolish sati in India. And he requested Bentinck, and he did it successfully. If without Bentinck, without Britishers, that was not possible. So these social reformers, these intellectuals, they wanted Britishers' presence in Indian society, at least to modernize Indian society, at least to sweep these social evils, at least to give a good governance. And they requested these Britishers give good governance and be present. And we are not. At least our community, our intellectual community, our reformers community, we are not fighting against you, and we are requesting to give good governance, right? This is the thing. So these intellectuals, these reformers, and some of the elite merchants, one who got benefited, are the industrialists, Tatas, Birlas, right, and Bajaj. So these are the Wadias companies, right? These are the fellows, the elite sections, the merchants. The big businessmen, they supported the British during 1857 revolt. Even these big businessmen, they funded the English government, economic resources. They poured economic resources for the revolt, being Indian, right? Because they wanted Britishers' presence in India. You know what? If you look at the princely state percentage, 80% of the princely states of that time, 80% of the princely states of that time, they supported British. Only 20% they are in the revolters side. When this was the case, how you expect this revolt to be successful? You can't, right? Even today, in Indian Army, the 6th regiment, the Gurkhas regiments, the Coorg regiment are the most respected regiments. The 6 Gurkhas and the Coorg regiments. In that, the 6 and the Gurkhas means the Himalayan foothills region, that Nepal region population, and 6 means the Punjab region population. They are the warrior gene. They are the good warrior, and they are the well-built body persons. So these 6 and Gurkhas, the Britishers are successful in gaining the support of 6 and Gurkhas. They are gaining 50% revolt. They are the very good warriors, and they are in the side of the Britishers. So how will you expect these Indians, other Indians, these peasants going to win the war? You can't expect these peasants win the war, right? When the warriors are in the sides of the Britishers, maybe Indian, they are in the side of the Britishers, 6 and the Gurkhas. Even today they are respected in our army. That means they are the warrior gene. You have a separate command, regiment for Sikhs in our Indian army. Separate regiment for the Sikhs, separate regiment for the Gurkhas only, separate regiment for the Kogis only, right? Or Madke, Kurgis. So that means what? These are all warrior genes. These warrior genes are with the Britishers at that time. When warrior genes are with the Britishers, this revolt will never ever become successful. See, this is another reason for the failure of the 1857 revolt. So, if at all in mains, what are the reason for the 1857 revolt, or what are the reason behind the first step of, or first move, or first try India failed to get independence? This was the question. You must touch upon these parts what we are discussing today. So, our next topic is results of the 1857 revolt. Before writing, just think what is the result. And I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes and answer me. If this was the question, what is the result of 1857 revolt? ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೀತೀರಿ? What kind of changes Indian society experienced after this revolt? Adan baribekku. Does really society experience any changes after this revolt? What kind of changes?
East India Company.
Changes in the administration. So East India Company
Queen
dissolved.
Queen
Queen proclamation, and she took the leadership, and she became the also leader of the government. Right. Next.
The Mughal rule ended.
Mughal rule ended. Okay. Or you can say the last Mughal emperor, he was deported. Next. Next.
They promised to give the offices for the Indian.
1858 Act was passed, and the things which is there in 1858 Act, that is the result of this 1857 war. So that we already discussed it in your political classes. That is the answer for this question, right? Whatever we discussed in 1858 Act, that is the answer for this question. So ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಅದನ್ನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಡೌಟ್, ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಬರೀರಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಡ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಆ ಥರದೊಂದು ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ನಡೀತಿತ್ತು, ರೈಟ್? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯ ಆ ಕಡೆದೊಂದು ಜನ, ಈ ಕಡೆದೊಂದು ಜನ, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿ, ರೈಟ್? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ನೆನಪಾಯ್ತು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿದೆ 1858 ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ ದ ಆಕ್ಟ್. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ನೀವು, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಈ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. In 1773 Regulating Act, Governor General of Bengal become Governor General of India,
Yes.
because the the presidency of Bombay and presidency of Madras comes under presidency of Bengal, and Governor General of Bengal become Governor General of India, or Governor of Bengal become Governor General of Bengal. Governor of Bengal become Governor General of Bengal. No. Governor General of Bengal in 1773 Act. Okay. In later he became a Governor General of India, And finally, after this revolt, he became a viceroy. They abolished the office called Governor General and they started a viceroy. And Canning was the last Governor General of India and the first viceroy of India. Right? This discuss ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. Right? And they created an office called Secretary for the State of India, not within India, but in the Parliament of UK. And 15-member committee as a subordinates for him, the Secretary for the State of India, and he used to get salary from the Indian poor. Right? This is the thing. So these are all the different changes, administrative changes. Bere ಏನಲ್ಲ ಇತ್ತು. What is the result of 1857 war?
ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಹೇಗೆ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು.
Okay, this is the first try. Try again. Right? It may be a lose. Yes, we successfully lost the revolt. We successfully lost the revolt, but we learned something. We are able to unite together if the well coordination was there, if well communication was there. We can able to unite together and we can face the Britishers. That kind of confidence we generated, and this confidence itself gave a boost for our first line politicians. Right?
ಸರ್ ಆದರೂ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಅದು ಸಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಸಮೇತ ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು.
ಯಾರು ಅವ್ರು ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
ಸಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೆಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮಾತು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಿಟ್ರಾ? ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಿಟ್ರಾ? ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಿಟ್ರಾ? ನೇಮ್ ಸೇಕ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನೇಮ್ ಸೇಕ್. ರೈಟ್? ಈಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋದು ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೆದ್ದಾಗಿದೆ ಇನ್ಯಾಕೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಹಾಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ನೇಮ್ ಸೇಕ್ ಬಾಯಿಲಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾನ್ ಬಡವರು ಬಂದು ಅಂತ. ರೈಟ್? ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮುಗ್ದೋಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಬಡವರು ವಿರೋಧಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಿರ್ಗೋಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ನಾನು ಹೊರಗೆ ತೆಗಿಯೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ರೈಟ್? ಏನೋ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ ಥರ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ದು. ಫಾರ್ನಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. ರೈಟ್? ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕಿಕ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, MLA ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಮೇತ ನಾವು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನಾವು ಬಡವರ ವಿರೋಧಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಡವರು ಬಂದು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳೋದು. ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೂ ಗೆದ್ದಾದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅದಾದ್ರೂ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಸೊ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Before they even allowed till the office called Jotedar allowed Indians. Before they allowed Indians in civil services also, in statutory civil services, at least higher clerk, some of the important positions, they eliminated that. Right? ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನರಿ ಮೆಷರ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು. ಇವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ರೈಟ್? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು. ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ಕೊಡಬಾರದು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್. वो कहते हो वो करना नहीं, वो करना नहीं है वो कहते आ तरह. Diplomacy in a constitutional language it is called diplomacy. ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ after this war they divided their entire army on regional basis, on religion basis, on communal basis, on community basis. ಅವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಯುನೈಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. They united and they went against Britishers, right? Indians, Hindu ಸಿಪಾಯಿಸ್, ಸಿಖ್ ಸಿಪಾಯಿಸ್ ಈ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು? ಅವಾಗ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಗೋರ್ಖಾ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಸಿಖ್ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈಗಲೂ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಜೈನ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಹಾಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ, ವಾರಿಯರ್ ಜೈನ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಿಂದೂ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಮುಸ್ಲಿಂ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಸಿಖ್ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಗೋರ್ಖಾ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್, ಒನ್ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಈ ತರದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಟ್ರೈಬ್ಸ್, ಕುರ್ಗೀಸ್, ದೇರ್ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ದೇ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟು ರೂಲ್ within their own army. ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು?
ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು.
ಹಾ, ಇಂಟರ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು ರಿಲಿಜನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಗೆ. ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, write something. As a result of revolt. It definitely brought change in the administration. It definitely brought changes in administration and attitude of the British. Yes or no? The change in the administration was, first let us discuss the change in administration, later attitude. First one, the administration of the East India Company ended or not? Ended. So who took over the administration of the East India Company ended? So who took over the administration? Parliament of England. See, ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಏನೋ ಒಂಥರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೆಂಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಈ ತರ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್, ರೈಟ್? ಈ ತರ. However, Queen at that time was not officially declared as the Empress of India. Not officially declared as the Empress of India. In later, the Darbar was called and announced Governor General Lord Lytton. Darbar was called by the Governor General Lord Lytton and he announced it in later, not right after the war. Right? The two agencies of the English, the Court of Directors and Board of Control, these two dramas was abolition. The two agencies of the English, Court of Directors and Board of Control, these two was abolition. Board of Control. See, ಇದನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ? ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಾ. The office of Governor General became Viceroy office, or you can say Governor General come Viceroy office. Viceroy office. Viceroy spelling ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಬರೀರಿ. What is the spelling?
VICEROY.
ROY. He was called Governor General when he dealing with British India. He was called Governor General when he was dealing with British India, and he acted as a Viceroy when he was dealing with the Princely State. Acted as a Viceroy when he was dealing with the Princely State. The first Governor General come Viceroy was Lord Canning. The first Governor General come Viceroy was Lord Canning. Next, to maintain the function of Governor General come Viceroy, they created Indian Council in the British Parliament. This also we discussed it, right?
Yes.
15-member council. Who headed this council? Who headed this 15-member Indian Council? Secretary for the State of India. Secretary for the State of India. That is the office. Charles Wood became the first Secretary for the State of India. See, 15 members council on the UK Parliament ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Sir, to maintain function of governor general
hmm?
vice
What?
ಅದನ್ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ಸಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಇದ್ದದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಜೊತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು ಇನ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ವೈಸ್ ರಾಯ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಸ್ ರಾಯ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಸ್ ರಾಯ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಬಲ್ ಟು ದಿ 15 member council and this 15 member council is not located in India, that is located in the UK Parliament and that was headed by an officer called Secretary for the State of India. Clear? So huh? What? First, second, Charles Wood, first Secretary for the State of India, Charles Wood. Because this board of control that was dissolved, no, he was the last president of this board of control, Charles Wood. Avarne tondagi Secretary for the State of India madidru. So no need to write that. Next, the policy of excluding Indians in the important posts. Underline this. Excluding Indians in important posts. Post of what? Post of administration, post within the army, post within the judiciary, everywhere. So they excluded Indians. Why they excluded Indians? This is precaution for another revolt. So even within army also, they divided Indian army on communal basis, on regional basis, sometimes on linguistic basis also. They divided Indian army on communal basis, regional basis, linguistic basis, so as to avoid the possibility of another revolt. So as to avoid the possibility of another revolution. You know what? When income tax started, even today income tax is there, no? When tax started, after this revolt in 1860, the income tax kind of concept started. 1860, income tax started. Why they started? To compensate the loss of the 1857 revolt. Compensate the loss which was happened for the British government because of this revolt. Okay. Hence, sure. Okay. Hope you understood. So these are all the first thing. The next attitude of the Britishers. How attitude of the Britishers changed? Take heading. Attitude of the Britishers changed. The Governor General Canning, Lord Canning, he organized a Grand Imperial Darbar in Allahabad. Grand Imperial Darbar.
Canning or written Darbar?
No. First, initially, this is something different. In Allahabad, this Canning, later that was written and he, implemented. Allahabad, he rewrote the change in the administration. He rewrote the change in the administration for the common public. What kind of change? Nodi, in East India Company illa. In Mele, Parliament, and we are answerable to the Parliament. Our officers rewrote common public and officers. Till yesterday, we are answerable to the East India Company. Tomorrow, we are answerable to British Parliament. We are not answerable to this East India Company. So this is the thing. Next, the proclamation promised no further conquest in India. Underline this, no further conquest in India. So yaru tumba happy adadu. Yaru princely states and native zamindars, they are very happy. No further conquest in India, With this announcement, English could win over the loyalties of the zamindars as well as the princely states. English could win over the loyalties of the native princely states and native zamindars. Right? And not just that, the proclamation promised non-interference or no further interference in what? In internal affairs. In internal affairs of the Indians. Internal affairs means what? We will not ban any customs, we will not ban any social events. So who become very happy?
Upper caste.
The intellectual caste, they are very happy. The upper caste. Or you can say the conservative section of the society. The queen could win over the loyalties of the conservative section of the society by declaring no interference in the internal affairs. The queen was successfully win over the loyalties of the conservative section of the society by giving a promise that I will not going to interfere in the internal affairs of the India. Yes or no? So who disappointed because of this? Reformers and the thinkers. So with this kind of non-interference declaration or no interference in internal affairs declaration, the reformers and the thinkers, they disappointed, right? Because they used to thought these internal affairs interference is because of the progressive legislation, and that should be continued to transform India from social evils to progressive modern India. Hope you are following. See, what is this social reform? From social evils country to progressive modern country. See, these thinkers, these reformers, they wanted Britishers like before only, because they are the ones they are in a powerful position and they can bring law and they can implement it so that they can avoid or they can ban all the social evils. So when they themselves declared that we are not going to bring any law, we are not going to interfere in the internal affairs, they got hurted because they supported 1857 war. In 1857 war, they supported British just because of their interference in the internal affairs. So after war, by taking their support and they win the war, they successfully suppressed the revolt, and after that they this kind of conclusion. We are not going to interfere. Definitely they interfered, but initially they gave this kind of things. So who disappointed? So this may be a prelims question. Who disappointed after this 1857 revolt? So who disappointed more? Princely states, first option. Second, social reformer. Third, zamindars. Fourth, peasants. Who disappointed more? Social reformers. Next. The queen also promised to promote Indians in decision making process. Underline this. This is we discussed while discussing 1858 process. So what is this? See, this decision, this promise of making Indians in decision making thing. What is this decision making thing? ಎಲ್ಲಿ include ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು decision making ಬರ್ತಾರೆ? Legislation ಒಳಗಡೆ council ಒಳಗಡೆ council entry start ಆಗಬೇಕು. So Indian Council Act start ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? So this is the foundation for the further Indian Council Act. For Indians to enter into the council of the British. Yes. That is the result. While discussing result, now the method. Change in the attitude only. Practically they excluded, but they allowed Indians in Indian Council Acts, right? First get 3 members now. Then Pidya, Yaru, Raja of Baroda. Next. ಆಮೇಲೆ 6 ಆಯ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ 16 ಆಯ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ 64 ಆಯ್ತು. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೋದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದಿದೆ, ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಇದೆ. ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್? ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಹೇಗೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ they are not decision makers, means they are not allowed to even talk, and they are not considered their views while bringing the laws. But in later they are allowed to take part in the debate and discussion, but not allowed for the voting, right? They are allowed but not allowed for the voting, right? And they only took part in the legislative council, not executive council. Idanella maatadidini nanu, because executive council are the implementator, they are the executives. Legislature only debate and discussion, passing the bill. And here also they are not allowed for voting. To pass a bill, voting is the necessary, not this debate. Or beda beda antane irli, you vote madidre finish. And Indians are not allowed to do vote. That means this is not actual. This is not actual representation. Namesake representation. They barred Indians from the respective courses in a practically, but by a we made them to be part of the legislature, right? ಅದನ್ನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ. ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದ್ರಿ? ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇ ಬರೀತೀರ, ನಾ ಬರ್ಸ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಬರ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ರಿ?
The Queen also promised to promote Indians in decision
Making. So on the basis of the Queen proclamation, the 1861, that was the first Indian Council Act, right? Indian Council Act 1861 was passed. In that, Indian Executive Act was passed. In that, Indian Judicial Act was passed. Indian Executive Act, Indian Judicial Act under Indian Council Act of 1861. It provided, Indian Council Act 1861, it provided nomination. See here, nomination. ಯಾರು ನಾಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು? ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್. ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನಾಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಯಾರು? ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ 3 ಜನ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಂತೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ನಾಮಿನೇಟೆಡ್, ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ನಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್, nomination of the Indian members, nomination of the Indian members into legislative council, and they are called unofficial members. This is also discussed in politics. They are called unofficial members, and these unofficial members, they had right to represent. They had right to represent. See, whom they are going to represent? Indians, Indian problems. They can represent the Indians and Indian problems, but they don't have any right of vote, right? They can represent Indians and Indian problems, and they don't have any right of vote. They don't have any right of asking questions for the Britishers. So this is the change in the attitude of the British. See, what is the initial attitude of the British towards Muslim community when they visited India? Till 1857 war. They supported Hindus against the Islams, against the Muslims initially. So after this war, they even started to hate Hindus. So this is another change, right? Something. Change in the policy of change in the policy which refers to divide and rule. Change in the policy which refers to divide and rule. Underline this, divide and rule. Change in the policy which refers to divide and rule. Before 1857 revolt, the Britishers held the Muslim would be their arch enemies. They held Muslim would be their arch enemies. R-A-R-C-H. Arch means Kattu. Shatrugadu. Arch enemies. So they encouraged Hindus. After 1857, English censored threat from the upcoming Hindu community also. English censored threat from upcoming Hindu community too. Especially Hindu middle class community. Hindu middle class community. So, their hatred among Muslims, they decreased it. Or you can say they started to support Muslims after 1857 war. This is very important. This may be a prelims statement. After 1857 war, English started to support Muslims. Yes. Right? Before they are the arch enemies. See, what is the thing? International reason for considering Muslims as their enemies? If you look at international politics, for Christianity, not Hindus as a opposition. For Christianity, for Christianity, Muslims, the religion called Islam, that is the opposite end, not Hindu. Right? The same thing they experienced in India also. Right? The same thing, even the initial barriers for the British in India was Mughal. They are the Muslims. Delhi Sultanates, they are the Muslims. If you look at South, Tipu, Muslim, and some of the Ayodhya, Muslims, Hyderabad, Muslims, right? Same thing. When Britishers entered India, at that time, India was ruled by Muslims. So they considered these rulers are the hatred, and the common publics are the Hindus. They started to support these Hindus, right? So this is the change in the attitude of the Britishers. So we discussed results of the revolt in two headings. One, change in the administration, and another one, change in the attitude of the Britishers. So we completed, I guess we touched upon every other part of the 1857 revolt. So sometime they'll ask in exam like nature and characteristics of the 1857 revolt. If this was the question, what is the question? Nature and characteristics of the 1857 revolt. Answer. ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್? ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
Armed one.
ಓಕೆ.
Revolted for their own.
First of all, you must agree for this is a revolution, right? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. See, what is revolution? French Revolution. Tipu influenced by the French Revolution. Something which is pre-planned for 10 years, then happened, that is not a revolution. Sudden eruption, that is revolution. So 1857 revolution, they are asking nature and characteristics or nature and character of 1857 revolution. So you must conclude, yes, there is a revolution. Even Lord Canning also expressed the same view in his parliament. This is definitely a revolution because this is erupted and burst out suddenly. Okay, next. ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣದಂತ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಮಾಬ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಮಾಬ್? ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಡನ್ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಡನ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಅದು ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರೆವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು. ಆ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಮಾಬ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ತಾನೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಫ್ಲಾಶ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್, ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಫೇಲ್ಯೂರ್. Right? It is a revolution. That is the reason for its failure. Next, nature and character of the revolt. ಇನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ?
In one part created fear in British.
You know what? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀಸನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ಇದು this is not a pre-planned ಅಂತ. If that was pre-planned, they considered May 31st as an initial, then May 10, right? Mangal Pandey incident happened in March. That's why we discussed it. Mangal Pandey incident ಆಗ್ಕೊಡ್ಲೆ ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಗೃತರಾಗಿದ್ರು. And they know, ಕಾದಿದೆ, ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವರು ಅಂತ, ರೈಟ್? ಅದನ್ನ ರಿವೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರೀ-ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಏನೇನ ಯಾವ ತರ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಂತ. ಲೈಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್, ನೇಚರ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಫಾರ್ಮೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. ಬರೆಯೋಣ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್? ನಾವು ಟೈಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯೋಣ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ. Centers and leaders very very important. Okay. Okay. See, don't look at your notes and discuss the suppression of the revolt.
Most of the time they suppressed it using forces.
Most of the time they use force and suppress the revolt. Next.
And some of the leaders who held them, they were
The head, the leaders were still.
Zamindars left
They left in initial. They withdraw their support. The both those Shah's two sons, they got killed. Next. Okay. Next. Central.
one by one everyone
Burma.
withdrawed and lastly peasants were left.
Left out. Next. Okay. ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ನೆನಪಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಗೇನ್ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ಕರ್ನಲ್ ಹಡ್ಸನ್ ಅವರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ.
Hudson was shot dead.
Two Mughal emperor.
Civilians lost their faith.
Okay. 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 What is the reason for the failure of the revolt? What are the internal reasons? If this is the question, internal reason for the failure of the revolt. Answer me. Lack of unity among the leaders. No coordination. No communication. No cooperation.
Focus on
Organized.
No common agenda. They fought it for local agenda. Right?
Not well organized. Well organized.
It is not well organized.
not equipped.
No equipment.
No equipments, not well trained.
No funds.
No funds, no foods.
Scarcity.
Next.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ.
The warrior genes, they are not part. Next.
80% ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್
ನೀವು
ಅವರ
ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತರ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ಹೇಳಿ. 1857 ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ.
80% of the princes are there with the Britishers. And some of the 20 fellows, they are not good fellows.
And
They withdraw their support.
intellectuals ಅವರ
Intellectual, what is the reason behind this about the Britishers, they thought when Britishers they continue to rule as the emperor, as the rulers, they will again implement more and more the social level kind banning things, the regulations. They'll make right to equality. They'll implement the fundamental rights. They'll implement the duties. These kind of things which is there in the UK, right? UK following democracy or not? UK following democracy or not? UK today, England following democracy or not? Monarchy. Today, monarchy.
Still.
But ಅಲ್ಲಿ president
Nಮ್ಮೋರೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ president? UK following democracy or what?
ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಸಿ ಅವ್ರ ನೇಮ್ ಸೇಕಿಗೆ
ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೂ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರು ಒಡೆಯರ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಡೆಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮೊನಾರ್ಕಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಇಂಗ್ಲೆಂಡ್ ಮೊನಾರ್ಕಿನಾ? ರೈಟ್? ಡೆಮೋಕ್ರಸಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೇನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂತೀನಿ? ಏನೋ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಬೆಕ್ನೆಟ್ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು ಇದ್ರ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದನ್ನೇ ಉದ್ದ ಹಿಡಿಯೋ ಹೋಗಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. ಮನೇಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು. Intellectual ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ. See, these intellectuals, they thought democracy is there. Democracy is there means what? They have a fundamental right. They have this one well-established constitution. When that was there means what? They are going to implement the same thing here. When that was the case, there is no social levels and there may be a chance of the equality within the society. That is they wanted. But after this main proclamation, what she did? She started to support this upper caste. She gave assurance that we are not going to interfere in this internal politics or internal affairs. She assured these Indians what we call religious rights. We are not going to interfere in social levels. We are not going to interfere in internal affairs. So what does it mean? It made the social reformers, the intellectuals. What we done? They started to suffer. Instead, we can support these Indian fellows. We sumne avarige support ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, right? Next. Results. Tell me the results. Change in the administration. What is the administration changes? East India Company abolished. Parliament started to rule. Queen became the Empress of India. Later, Board of Control, Board of Directors abolished. Viceroy office started. Secretary for the State of India started. And 15-member council at the UK started.
ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪವರ್
Okay. Income tax for the first time introduced in 1860 to compensate the war expenses. Next. Exclude the policy of exclusion of the Indians in important positions within the army, within the administration, everywhere started. And the good governance started. Name say good governance. Next. And she has agreed that we will not going to increase our territory. Zamindars are very kush. Right? And princely says they are very happy.
Not interference.
No ring fencing policy, so they are very happy. Right? No doctrine of lapse, they are very happy. Next. Disappointed. Next. Yes, next.
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್
See, heading ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡಿ. I don't want that. I don't like. I want the entire concept. Heading, chapter ಹೆಸರು, subject ಹೆಸರು. I don't like that. Concept is very important.
Divided but right.
What kind of attitude shift was happened? Before, from communal perspective, before they thought because of the world politics, they thought the Muslims are their enemies, and they started to support Hindus in initial note. But after when they experienced it, even the threat from the Indian, that to Hindu middle class, they started to oppose even Hindus, and they started to praise the Muslims after that. Right? Next. See, this is I am going to discuss while discussing Jinnah in law. ನೀವಿಬ್ಬರು ಒಂದೇ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು, ಜಿನ್ನನ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಹೋದ್ರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ್ಸ್. ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮ್ಸ್, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಲಿಸನ್ ದೆಮ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್
Now is India to promote
Samhita's were added princely states
Okay,
happy.
the executive entry, sorry, legislature entry, legislature council entry. Council entry started after 1861 Indian Council Act, right? 3, 6, 16, 64, athara janita. And initially they are not even allowed for the debate and discussion. Later they are allowed for the debate, and initially they are not even allowed for the asking questions. Later they are allowed for asking questions, but never ever they are allowed for the voting. Initially they are nominated by the Britishers. Later they started to elected indirectly. Next.
Princely state but zamindars happy ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ acquisition ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ land.
Okay, ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಓದಿದ. ಓಕೆ, ಟೇಕ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ 1857 ರಿವೋಲ್ಟ್. ಲೆಟ್ us discuss that tomorrow. Okay, thank you.